Jeune homme, Redford aimait à grimper au sommet de la tour du Westwood Fox Theatre. De là, il apercevait les studios d'Hollywood. Son destin à portée de main. Il allait s'en saisir, vite et bien, pour devenir cet irrésistible ange blond auquel nul ne pourrait résister.
He prayeth well, who loveth well, both man and bird and beast.
Au séducteur allait se doubler l'intrépide justicier.
Codename Redshirt. He's responsible for the western flank of the upcoming Saigon offensive.
Action, guys.
Au service de toutes les bonnes causes, Redford, éternel protecteur du rêve américain.
Action.
Redford, incarnant l'intégrité, l'honnêteté, la loyauté et la droiture, est devenu le citoyen exemplaire. L'homme modèle tel qu'on en rêve et qui n'a eu de cesse, par sa seule présence, de faire exploser l'écran. C'est le western Butch Cassidy et le Sundance Kid, auprès de Paul Newman, qui allait faire de lui la star planétaire aimée de tous. Le prénom du Sundance Kid allait donner son nom au mythe Redford. Les plages de Santa Monica avaient fini par produire dans les années 50 et 60 une spécialité locale devenue banale, les blonds, beaux et bronzés. Au milieu de cette faune, pur produit d'une Californie désinvolte, affranchi de toutes sortes d'anxiétés existentielles, le jeune Bobby allait apprendre à découvrir le monde. Pourtant, le petit Bobby, loin du soleil, du sable et du surf, deviendra un mythe américain, et pas seulement dans les westerns.
Welcome to the podium, Mr. Robert Redford, a man who needs no introduction, but an actor and environmental campaigner who would like to make a statement.
I'm here today as an environmental advocate, but also a father, grandfather, and a concerned citizen. One of billions around the world who are urging you to take action now on climate change. I'm an actor. I'm sorry about that. I'm an actor by trade. I'm an actor by trade, but I'm an activist by nature.
Le Sundance Kid a grandi. Le cow-boy rebelle s'est transformé en défenseur des causes planétaires. Redford est devenu un porte-parole pris au sérieux par les puissants de ce monde.
To save the world before it's too late. Now, my own engagement on climate change began more than 40 years ago, but the urgency that I felt then has only grown stronger.
Un Redford en cache un autre. L'acteur aura joué tous ses rôles pour qu'un jour, la parole de l'homme pèse davantage que celle de la star. Se préoccuper du sort de la planète pèse davantage que le simple sort d'Hollywood.
The most important film in his life, the most fulfilling, was Jeremiah Johnson. And when you ask him why, in one sentence, do you love Jeremiah Johnson so much, he said, because he perseveres. He doesn't quit.
Robert Redford as Jeremiah Johnson.
Jeremiah Johnson.
Redford ne joue pas Jeremiah Johnson, le trappeur solitaire. Redford est Jeremiah Johnson, le champion d'un retour aux valeurs de la nature. Sous l'ascendance délicate de sa mère, Martha Hart, Bobby se fera défenseur du rêve américain dans ce qu'il représente de plus grand, l'Amérique débarrassée de ses démons. Sa mère le guide très tôt vers d'autres horizons, d'autres perspectives, d'autres destinées, rendre ce monde idéal. C'est elle qui lui communiquera l'amour des grands espaces, le désir d'évasion, le désir d'aller voir toujours plus loin.
He had a fascination with Ireland because his grandmother was from County Down, and she had a very Fenian, rebellious, seditious type of personality, which went into him. And then his father's side, which were Rhode Island Protestants. very conservative father who expects very conservative things from him. A little bit of a wild Texan mom who's a different kind of attitude, so an interesting kind of cross-pollination.
Aller plus loin et bien sûr persévérer dans le plus loin. Ce serait cela, incarner le rêve américain. Image retrouvée d'un rêve américain en marche. Sur le tournage de Daisy Clover de Robert Mulligan en 1965, Natalie Wood sera sa première véritable associée dans ce rêve devenu réalité. L'anonyme Redford en marche vers une certaine renommée. Tous les deux vivront une idylle tenue secrète des années. Tous les deux fragiles, se construisant l'un avec l'autre. Redford savait que Nathalie ne savait pas nager. Outrepassant le scénario, il prit sur lui de se jeter avec elle dans l'eau, au risque de la noyer. Mais c'est lui qui la sauve. Déjà Redford s'improvisait metteur en scène, mais surtout Redford construisait son personnage, l'amant vertueux, l'amant sauveur incontournable. Et le fil de sa vie se tissait avec celui de la fiction.
Now look here, if you hurt her work, and I won't allow that.
No, but that's no problem. No problem at all. I asked her to marry me this morning.
Well, I can hardly stand the suspense. What did she say?
You want to tell the man what you said?
Yes. Yes!
He was so handsome and so attractive to women. I thought, well, he'll want to be an actor. And Redford didn't. He wanted to be an illustrator. And as he describes it himself, it was such an alien and uncomfortable experience because he was looking at the walls and seeing Kirk Douglas and Grace Kelly's pictures on the walls and having no attachment to them. But he tells an interesting story that when he eventually broke through into acting, it was by letting himself go insane.
Lui, l'homme que toutes les femmes rêvaient d'épouser.
Il voulait être peintre dans sa jeunesse. Il a fait les beaux-arts à Paris quand il avait 18 ans, 19 ans. Il passait beaucoup de temps à dessiner, à faire des croquis, à observer comme ça les gens, les scènes de rue, voilà, tout ce qui se passait autour de lui. Et il en faisait des dessins, des petites peintures. Donc, très tôt, il a eu cette fibre d'observer et de transformer artistiquement ce qu'il observe.
Redford a des origines européennes mêlées. Un peu anglais, un peu écossais, un peu irlandais et un peu français.
Le voyage initiatique en Europe a été très important pour lui. Quand il avait 18 ans, ça lui a ouvert les yeux sur une autre partie du monde, une autre culture, un autre rapport aux choses, un autre rapport aux œuvres, un autre rapport à l'art, à la politique. Il a pris conscience des limites de la culture américaine, d'un certain provincialisme américain, d'un certain isolationnisme, c'est-à-dire les Américains, beaucoup finalement ne connaissent que l'Amérique, enfin ignorent tout à fait les autres régions du monde, les autres cultures.
And it was his stepmother who had been an actress, a radio actress, very successful radio actress in the 40s, 30s and 40s, Helen Coomber, who enrolled him or persuaded him to enroll very whimsically for the American Academy of Dramatic Arts.
Finalement, il a fait une école d'art dramatique à New York et puis il a commencé à jouer dans des pièces.
La seule chose que m'ait appris l'Académie, dit Redford, est que pour être bon, il faut s'efforcer de ne pas être mauvais. On m'a aussi appris à ne pas être effrayé devant un public. Ils appelaient ça sortir de soi-même. Mais à jouer? Non, je n'ai pas appris à jouer.
Bunk about my getting patriotic and my duty to my country. But I can't go on like this, Larry. Here's the true reason, Larry. The only reason. It's just for money. I got stuck in abroad and I wanted dough to blow in there and have a good time. That's all I did it for, just money. And you shut up.
C'est sur les planches qu'il fait connaissance avec Jane Fonda dans Pieds nus dans le parc.
We just got married!
Après l'avoir joué au théâtre, les deux se retrouvent au cinéma. 1963, deux jeunes mariés, follement épris l'un de l'autre, ont oublié le reste du monde.
Did you miss me today?
No,
Why not?
because you called me 8 times. I don't talk to you that
Lui,
much when I'm home.
l'homme que toutes les femmes rêvaient d'épouser, se rêvait peintre solitaire.
When I was in France, art student in Paris and Italy, and these were just people I knew. I held some fantasy out of my head that I would return to art, and I carried that maybe 5 years into my acting career, and then finally one day just looked at myself in the mirror and I said, who are we kidding? This is what you do. This is what you do well and like it. Give up the idea that you're going to maintain this career in art.
Après Jeremiah Johnson de Sidney Pollack, les deux hommes feront encore 5 films ensemble. Autant dire que la carrière de l'un a fait celle de l'autre. Les deux hommes seront unis dans la même quête.
I don't think many people see the more subtle aspects of Redford that make him as special an actor as he is. He is terribly concerned with many of the qualities that we hope the film was concerned with. Really an exploration of both the beauty and the cruelty of nature. That nature can kill you, that it is a trap, and it's also a gorgeous trap. That perhaps man's individuality is his most valid asset, that maintaining his individuality is absolutely vital to him.
Ensemble, ils se sont fait lanceurs d'alerte. Sauver la planète tant qu'il est encore temps.
There's no question that the environment is a third character in the film. That interested me always. I've always felt the importance of nature was very strong. And I do like the outdoors, that's true. I think I trust nature a little bit more than civilization, but I did feel it was interesting to somehow put the power of that in a film.
So there was a fusion of things there that made him a Wild West cowboy.
Un jour, rentrant de New York à Los Angeles, il passe par ce canyon de Provo et il tombe littéralement amoureux de la région. Il se dit, voilà, peut-être un jour, c'est là que j'aurais envie d'habiter. Il a fini effectivement par le faire, donc d'abord en se construisant cette maison qui était loin de tout. Au début, je crois qu'il n'y avait même pas l'électricité.
Lola Van Wangenen est originaire de Provo dans l'Utah. Elle est la fille de mormons puritains. Le 12 septembre 1958, elle a 18 ans, il en a 21. Il se marie contre l'avis de ses parents à elle.
Il s'est aussi investi beaucoup dans la politique locale et toujours avec une préoccupation écologique, une préoccupation de préservation de la nature.
Those national parks are of a national interest. They belong to the nation.
Je trouve chez Redford quelque chose d'absolument généreux, un souci du bien commun, un souci de l'intérêt collectif, un engagement très fort.
The sun will always work. The sun will never increase its price on a heating bill. It won't pollute our air. And it won't foul our rivers.
C'est Lola qui lui fera découvrir la vallée de l'Utah qui deviendra Sundance. Il en fera le temple de son culte pour la mère nature.
S'il y a une dimension mystique ou religieuse chez Redford, c'est la nature. Il y a un rapport transcendantal au monde et il entre en connexion avec ça quand il est dans la nature, face à ses montagnes.
Le ciel, le soleil, la mer. Là, au milieu de la mer, un duo mythique se forme.
C'est à la fois une très belle histoire d'amour et en même temps une histoire politique, en tout cas sur l'état politique de la jeunesse américaine au début des années 70.
What are you selling?
The ROTC, you can have it cheap. Fascist.
Le personnage de Barbara Streisand est une sympathisante communiste, très engagée, très virulente, très radicale, alors que Redford est beaucoup plus modéré dans son engagement. Ces divergences politiques ou idéologiques, évidemment, influent sur l'état de leur couple.
Look, I don't know when I'll be back. Could you leave a key or...
You can't. I've got steaks and baked potatoes and sour cream and chives and salad and fresh baked pie. I would have made a pot roast. I make a terrific pot roast, but I didn't know whether you ever had pot roast, whether you like pot roast. Anyway, there wasn't time because it really should be made the day before. You can't go yet. You just gotta stay for supper. That's all there is to it.
What kind of pie?
Pollack s'est fait progressivement l'architecte de Redford. Dans le même temps, Redford joue polac par procuration.
Dès son premier succès, il y a cette image de Redford, l'acteur plutôt taciturne, le personnage un peu taiseux. Le premier exemple qui vient à l'esprit, c'est Butch Cassidy. Dans le couple qu'il forme avec Paul Newman. Paul Newman est vraiment le gars expansif, qui n'arrête pas de parler, qui est le plus drôle, alors que Redford est plutôt dans un rôle taiseux, taciturne.
Le film remportera 7 Oscars en 1974 et y sera Redford, le taiseux, au rang de superstar.
Après Butch Cassidy, il a tourné d'ailleurs d'autres rôles de gangsters, donc a priori négatifs, dans L'Arnaque, où il reforme le duo avec Paul Newman, et même le trio avec le réalisateur George Roy Hill.
In 1936, the sting was a dying art. Until Henry Gondorff.
Le film a un côté comédie, les gangsters sont séduisants. Finalement, ils finissent par trahir des gangsters bien plus puissants et méchants qu'eux, donc ils sont quand même sympathiques.
He's not as tough as he thinks. Neither are we. Paul Newman and Robert Redford.
Anytime, JJ.
This time, they might get away with it. The Sting, rated PG.
Redford a toujours joué des personnages très positifs, ou en tout cas très sympathiques. C'est pour ça qu'il a aussi cette image un peu de gendre idéal, de mari idéal, je sais pas, de père idéal. C'est vraiment le decent man, le decent citizen.
L'impeccable citoyen, l'irréprochable gentleman, hypnotisé lui-même par son pouvoir hypnotique.
Daisy, I'd like you to meet my neighbor, Mr. J. Gatsby. Mr. Gatsby, this is my cousin, Daisy Buchanan.
We've met before.
We haven't met for many years.
8 years. Next November.
Redford diplomacy is something that comes to Redford with great ease, but it came through great study and great learning. In his early stage, he told me a story once that the film critic from Newsweek magazine was interviewing him and asked him why he didn't have the courage to shave his head like De Niro and play a villain. And he asked him to turn off the recorder, and he said, "That's a non-ethical and a foolish question." And the very esteemed reviewer said, "Why? Why have I offended you?" And Redford said, "Because I thought you would have the intelligence to understand that I did. If you'd studied my career, I started in 1957 at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. I played villains."
Nein, Herr Kapitän.
Qui se souvient de Redford, officier SS, face au rabbin Charles Laughton?
Sergeant.
Sir?
Knock the rabbi down.
Kapitän.
The sergeant's locked. I want you to hit the rabbi. Sergeant, when you teach someone, make certain it's a lesson to be remembered. Lesson something like that. And as for you, my young sergeant, we'll have a talk about this. You understand?
Jawohl, Kapitän.
Même en méchant, Redford semble incapable d'être vraiment méchant.
C'est pas quelqu'un qui en fait des tonnes. Il est jamais dans le surjeu, Redford. Il est plutôt dans le sous-jeu, dans l'infrajeu. Juste en dessous de la ligne psychologique ou de la ligne d'incarnation, je dirais, moyenne qu'on pourrait prêter à n'importe quel acteur. Lui est toujours légèrement en dessous.
Un style minimaliste qui convient bien au rôle de lanceur d'alerte, comme dans Les 3 jours du Condor auprès de Faye Dunaway.
Condor was quite serious. That was really, in its time, 1974, that was really taking
a risk because we were making a statement, and it was consciously made, about asking the question about our own government. What about an agency within our government that's out of control? What about that? How do we feel about that? So there was a real hard look at the CIA before we had any of the information that's now come down about the Iran and the Contra thing and so on.
Les 3 jours du Condor s'inscrit dans cette lignée de films de la paranoïa où vraiment les institutions américaines et notamment le pouvoir sont vraiment remis en cause et où on ne peut plus faire confiance aux institutions. Ça va dans la lignée d'ailleurs des opinions politiques de Redford, une espèce de critique, de dénonciation de ce qu'est devenu la démocratie américaine dans les années 70, ou peut-être de ce qu'elle a toujours été.
En 1988, Redford est invité par l'Académie soviétique des sciences à présenter ses films et à faire valoir ses idées écologistes auprès des autorités. La même année, il convoquait à Sundance experts et diplomates soviétiques et américains pour des symposiums sur le réchauffement climatique, et ce, en pleine guerre froide.
Long before climate change was as popularly in the media as it is now, he was one of, with his first wife Lola, he was the kind of promoter of Earth Day and Awareness Day in his home in Utah.
Sa femme Lola, sa première inspiratrice, l'avait encouragé à faire de leur vallée de Sundance le lieu même d'un institut de cinéma au service des jeunes réalisateurs rejetés par les studios. Sundance deviendra la tribune à partir de laquelle il fera entendre sa voix d'apôtre de la sauvegarde de la planète.
Any country, any society, I think it's important that the government of that country or society sustain an environment that will support creative expression. The voice of the artist, I think, is the lifeblood of any society.
Le fait de soutenir le jeune cinéma indépendant, de vouloir soutenir, oui, la création cinématographique, d'échapper aux normes et aux codes hollywoodiens, c'est une distance politique avec l'écologie, la cause indienne, la critique de toutes les dérives des institutions américaines, du gouvernement, de la CIA, tous ces films critiques sur la société de surveillance et sur la manière dont finalement beaucoup de présidents, de gouvernements et d'institutions américaines trahissent les principes des pères fondateurs de l'Amérique.
Redford se sent depuis toujours solidaire de ses ancêtres européens, fondateurs de cette Amérique idéale, porteuse de tous les rêves de liberté. Quand il produit et joue The Candidate, voté Bill McKay, en 1972, il signifie on ne peut plus clairement une forme d'engagement politique.
I would say he's extremely political. He was active in supporting select political candidates for Congress and the Senate, usually Democrats, but he has supported Republicans as well, based on their agenda. And the agenda was protection of wilderness, protection of clean air, clean water.
Redford se joue comme un rebelle de la bonne cause.
Il n'a pas hurlé de slogan, il n'a jamais appelé à la révolution, il n'a jamais appelé à renverser les institutions américaines, même s'il les a beaucoup critiquées. Le citoyen démocrate américain, c'est-à-dire qui critique parce qu'il y a des raisons de critiquer tel ou tel aspect du pouvoir, tel ou tel aspect de l'empire américain. Comme acteur aussi, il a été à la fois dedans et dehors d'Hollywood. Il n'a jamais été à fond dans le jeu hollywoodien. Il a toujours pris des distances, puis il a fini par s'en éloigner. Donc je pense à la fois dans sa carrière d'acteur et dans ses engagements à côté de sa carrière d'acteur, il a quand même pris des décisions fortes.
I mean, they were obsessed with the story. They were just two characters who were obsessed with getting the story. In Bob Woodward's case in particular, he was obsessed with work, period.
Quand avec Dustin Hoffman, ils incarnent dans Les Hommes du Président les deux journalistes du Washington Post, Woodward et Bernstein, qui vont dénoncer l'affaire du Watergate, Redford s'y investit tellement qu'on a l'impression que c'est lui qui est à l'origine de la destitution de Nixon.
Two sources wasn't enough. And those three sources had to be independent sources to be sure that the story they were going to print was accurate. I mean, the newspapers are filled with stories that were never able to be printed because there was element of compromise. But it was healthy compromise because it's more dangerous to print something that is inaccurate and possibly injure someone's life or reputation because of it. So there's a great check and balance system going on, and that involves compromise. But the two characters themselves were just obsessed with getting a story that turned out to be something like a detective story. It was following clues that led ultimately to the Oval Office. They were able to tie one character named Chapin to an alleged dirty tricks campaign that involved the slush fund at the Committee to Re-elect the President and a campaign to disseminate dirty tricks to the other political candidates. That one of the people involved with that, the man who hired people for dirty tricks, was the appointment secretary to Nixon. That put the story clearly inside the Oval Office. When that happened, and they realized that they were about to print something that said that it could possibly involve, or the implication was that it could involve the man who was the President of the United States, they realized that they could be doing something that could alter the course of history, and then they were scared.
May God's grace be with you in all the days ahead.
À défaut de devenir un homme politique, dont les actions sont limitées, voire corrompues, Redford troque son fauteuil d'acteur contre celui de réalisateur. Il signifie sa manière à lui de passer à l'action. Le réalisateur se voudra plus efficace que le sénateur ou le candidat Redford.
If you look at a movie like Ordinary People in 1980, which was his first directorial picture, so at that stage, in 1980, he is 44. He's going through an existential crisis. His marriage is falling apart, and he puts that down to the distractions of Hollywood.
Pourtant, lui, l'homme qui se veut ordinaire, avec femme et enfants, ne parviendra pas à se réfugier dans cette vie par trop ordinaire.
When he came to chance to direct, he directed a film, and the title really says it all. It's that ordinary people are not ordinary people. Ordinary people are complicated people. And the paradox of his own life and his own career and the elements that made him Robert Redford and gives him recognition from the French government or whatever, is to do with recognizing, that's the specific thing that recognizes his art. The movies that he directed had something to say about not just the American condition as we know it, but about the human condition.
Il propose une vision finalement assez critique et pour les Américains, je dirais assez iconoclaste de la famille, c'est-à-dire qu'il monte en surface une famille bourgeoise bien sous tout rapport, voilà, qui est dans la réussite économique, etc. Et puis il gratte et il montre que voilà que derrière c'est beaucoup moins souriant, beaucoup moins florissant. Et il le fait dans un style qu'on pourrait presque dire à l'européenne, c'est-à-dire un style assez subtil et qui passe beaucoup par les non-dits, par les silences.
Jusque-là, Redford l'acteur n'a pas reçu l'Oscar. Il le reçoit comme réalisateur pour son premier film.
It's important to say this about Redford, that you know, this thing about it's important to win. It's not how you win or play the game or not. You have to win. And there you go, deep in the depths of the mythological thing about survival, life eats life. And you have to win.
Je veux faire comprendre que les gens n'accordent d'importance qu'aux victoires, jamais aux efforts. Or, les efforts sont justement à la base du rêve américain. Ce sont toujours les efforts qui rendent grande la victoire et touchante la défaite. Mais bien sûr, c'est gagner qui compte.
I wouldn't classify this as a baseball movie. It's an allegorical piece. It's very hard to describe. I'm not at all comfortable describing what this film's about. I know it has something to do with reclaiming a lost dream. I know it has something to do with a second chance. I know that the allegory of baseball and life has something to do with everyone wanting a chance at bat.
La gloire peut être un danger. Elle met en péril notre propre sensibilité. Elle nous place dans une position où on risque d'être un objet, plus qu'un être humain. Parfois, les forces extérieures sont tellement puissantes que c'en est terrifiant. Pollack offre à Redford le rôle du chasseur de fauves auprès de Meryl Streep, dans l'œuvre de Karen Blixen, où les deux personnages sont censés trouver la force de donner un sens positif aux événements les plus tristes.
Sidney was very much the architect of Bob's very blonde, very glamorous image. He was basically creating or fine-tuning the pin-up Bob. And Bob was compliant. Bob went along with this.
That's precisely what it is. He's a character actor in the sort of outer accoutrements of a leading man. He's much more complex than people usually think. Often they can't get past the blonde hair and blue eyes, but I find a very complicated and interesting character, very American, and uniquely right for the kind of love stories that I like to do.
But this I tell to thee, thou wedding guest. Lay your head back. He prayeth well who loveth well, both man and bird and beast. That's better.
Sidney was jealous of the fact that Bob was having this incredibly intimate moment of spontaneous connection beyond what was in the script and somewhere other than where Sidney saw this moment should have been going. And it created tensions. So there was a kind of tension between him and Sidney. It's interesting people talk about his style of acting and some of the essence that he used to convey the parts he plays and the parts he chooses. But really, I always look upon it as being a calculation of the mask. This is something that we need for the perpetuation of the species. We need a sexy man, a romantic man, a man who has empathy with women. And it's easy for women to love him. And when, you know, destiny or the gods have given you the particular symmetry of looks he has, and symmetry is divinely attractive, didn't Alberti say about artistic composition? So you are easy to sell to your market, to your audience.
« 1988. Redford réalise son deuxième film. Milagro raconte les tribulations d'un fermier du Nouveau-Mexique qui tente de s'opposer aux représentants de multinationales menaçant de saccager la région à des fins mercantiles. Redford se fait porte-parole des petits contre les grands. Milagro, c'est tout ce que j'aime, dit Redford. C'est une apologie de l'esprit et du courage de l'homme. Partout, le profit l'emporte. Un jour, seul le profit restera. Il n'y aura plus nature ni culture. Ce jour-là, il sera trop tard pour faire machine arrière et dire qu'on ne savait pas. Et puis arrive Havana. 7e et dernière collaboration des deux amis qui allaient bientôt rompre violemment leur amitié.
I was trying to imagine Redford sitting across the table from her, let's say, and I thought, well, I would really be interested in that. And I would say that she's a match for him. She's not going to be a young girl who's going to go, oh, my God, Robert Redford, and I'll do whatever you want, you know. Look at the people.
Quick, boys, before we
roll! There's a very interesting combination there between these two, between Redford's very American, blonde, golden look and her dark, intense, slightly foreign look and feel and sound. And so this combination is kind of exotic, I think.
Rares les histoires d'amour qui se terminent bien dans les films de Pollack.
Bob was very clear that his best collaboration was Sidney Pollack. There was something there that was a little special, and that one provoked and incited and created the energy in the other. It was, by its nature, at times combative. They had some tough times. They met on a film called War Hunt in 1960, and they were, in Sidney's version, they were really brothers, really, from the get-go, from the very beginning. So they were like one.
Aucun des couples qu'il invente pour Redford ne dure longtemps. Le couple de Havana n'échappe pas à cette règle. Le couple Redford et Pollack n'y échappera pas non plus.
I think friendship is very, very important in life, but it's not easy to find, and it's very often not easy to keep. You make a friend, you come together, you're friends, you adventure together, you do things together, and then something goes off and you part ways.
Et puis passe l'amitié comme une rivière.
It's about a deeply loving family in Montana, bonded by nature and particularly a river. But it's really about family, you know, unlike a lot of the charade that's going on now with this sort of cartoon sloganeering about family values. I mean, this really is deeply about families and their emotions. And I read the first line, which was, in our family, there was no clear line between religion and fly fishing. And then I knew I was in for something. And I was. That line is both a fact and a metaphor. You read the book, and you realize that you're feeling something very deeply, and what it is actually what is lost, what has been lost in our country that is of such value. At the same time you feel that, you're feeling such a deep appreciation for what still is. And that's what it meant to me, because of my own feelings about nature, in almost a religious sense, the meaning and the importance of it. You know, they say that Montana is one of the last great places.
En 1994, Redford réalise son 4e film, Quiz Show.
He started producing, and his plan was to make a trio of commentaries, essays on the American condition. One was to be about the Pyrrhic victory of sport, which was downhill racer, about skiing. One was The Candidate, about the Pyrrhic victory of winning a presidency or a governorship. And one was unmade, really, a big business one in Quiz Show, which he directed, which is about the manipulation of media, in big business media, which was autobiographical. It referred to a particular thing that had happened to him.
Quiz Show peut être vu comme une sorte d'autoportrait secret, celui d'un acteur qui s'intéresse au statut de la star et sur les bruits qui circulent sur son compte. Redford, tombeur irrésistible. Redford, citoyen exemplaire. N'a-t-il rien à se reprocher?
Redford recreated this scene in the movie Quiz Show, where the guy who's appearing on the quiz show is confronted by the studio executives and told, this is all about money, you know, just be good and you'll earn money. So Redford tells the story about how Hollywood wanted him and he didn't want Hollywood, and therefore Hollywood wanted him more. So he talks about this kind of reverse psychology thing where he's sitting there and he says, but I wasn't psychologizing in any way. I was just knee-jerk reacting. I was dumb. And this is again about his instinct, about the profound instinct that's in him. That's the gift. So it's deeply in him, like the mythological thing. It's in him. So he said, no, I don't want to do it, I don't want to do it, I don't want to do it. And eventually, Stark Heseltine, the junior agent under Lou Wasserman, said, okay, kid, you're walking away from a fortune. You're walking away from Hollywood. And of course, the fortune aspect of it appealed to Redford because he was used to living fairly bleakly in those days, in the early days of his time with his wife, Lola, in New York, in a cold water walk-up. So he decided to do it.
Xerox 7A, Mark.
There is an interesting aspect about Robert Redford being seen as a mythical character today.
Are those the correct shoes? Kendall, are those the right shoes? They are.
Make that the marks, the tracks go straight forward. If she gets too much to the left, then she blocks the mind.
He would be able to relate, for example, the Old Testament to the story of God and justice and Job, and compare it with the story, the classical Greek myth of Zeus and Prometheus, and the way justice is dispensed.
Au sujet de Buck Brannaman, l'homme qui inspira le film, Redford confie: je comprenais les valeurs dont il se réclamait. Je pouvais y mettre mes propres expériences, mes propres envies, mes propres nostalgies.
Superficially, he looks like the golden icon, as Pollock says, but his mythology is based on a real intellectual rationalization. And it's in all his roles and powerfully in his directorial films. They're all strategic. They all comment on the hero's journey through mythology. Very inquisitive guy, and need to stress that. He's not a guy who takes stories lightly. He doesn't say, I'll do Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. He says, what's the resonance of me doing Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid? Even in some of the things that seem in his movies, like, say, Indecent Proposal, none of those are idly decided upon. He looks upon the resonance of them and what they will say to youth or the culture or to the American experience as it has been dry cleaned over the last 150 years.
The stars themselves did what they do best. Pose, pose, and pose again.
So the Hollywood thing for Redford is a game he plays. It's a mask he puts on. And he realizes the stuff he has done in promoting the Sundance Group is based on raising funds from everyone from the National Endowment for the Arts to individual wealthy people. It has been done by playing the game of the Hollywood society and keeping your Tom Ford suit on and your Anchorman teeth and making sure that you are acceptable to the glamorous aspect of culture, which we're all addicted to. You know, we all want to put on a nice suit on Christmas Day, and Redford basically plays that game.
Well, I think one of the threats to freedom of expression, probably in the mainstream part of the industry, is whether the bottom line sensibility that sometimes over controls the industry is going to allow you to do what you want to do.
Sans se ménager, Redford, toujours en quête de vérité, réalise en 2007 son 7e film.
I've always been interested in politics as a subject because I'm basically just interested in America. I'm not so much interested in making films about other countries. That's up to other people in other countries. But for me, the fundamental theme for me is what about my country? What are the themes within my own country that are ongoing? So this fell into that category. So in a sense, the film, it's not about the war. It's not about any current event. It's about what are the factors that are factors that have had repeated patterns over time. So the film can't be about the issues. It has to be about something deeper.
This extraordinary ability to play so many balls at the same time. These are going on acting, directing, developing, documentary making, giving sponsorship, grant aid to independent ethnic filmmakers, environmental issues, and political interest. But the politics is less to do with partisan American politics as to global orientation. He's a globalist in that sense. His interest in America is just to do with his interest in the globe, in the world.
Redford continue de se raconter par ses films. Pas de retraite, pas de répit. Tant qu'il nous reste des forces, on se doit d'avancer. Redford est bien décidé à en avaler encore et encore, en quête éternelle de vérité.
Bob's great to work with. I mean, you know, he had this piece that he was going to do with Paul Newman for a long time, and then when Paul died, after a year or two, he approached me with it. I knew about the piece. And,
can you lend me a little money? I'm kind of broke.
Mr. Redford, they took all my money.
En 2015, dans Le Prix de la Vérité, Redford incarne Dan Rather, le célèbre présentateur de CBS, qui a cru bon de s'en prendre à George Bush Jr., qui aurait tout fait pour échapper à la guerre du Vietnam. Dan Rather, après 35 ans de service, dut donner sa démission.
We have no entanglements politically, corporately, or any other way. Investigative stories are a very important part of the watchdog role that journalists play in our society. It's right at the red beating heart of good journalism, what I consider to be patriotic journalism, to investigate, to dig down deep and try to expose corruption, double-dealing, lies.
Redford se fait là encore le héros d'une cause injuste, voire infamante pour l'Amérique. Nouvelle croisade pour notre infatigable Captain America. The Clearing, l'enlèvement. Plongé dans un thriller dramatique, au ton extrêmement pessimiste, comme dans l'air du temps. Pour lui, il y a là comme la fin du rêve américain en prémonition. La fin, peut-être, de toutes les espérances. Et si tout était perdu?
But the fact that he came to me and said, look, I wrote this with you in mind, that touched me. And when I read it, I thought, well, this is something exciting for me to do at this point in my life.
Au cours d'un voyage en solitaire à travers l'océan Indien, un homme découvre à son réveil que la coque de son voilier a été percée. Malgré son génie marin et une force physique défiant les années, il y survit de justesse.
The best way I can serve this man and his vision is to just give myself over to him completely. Don't look at any film, don't look at any dailies, don't look at the monitor, just be in the character and do what you have to do. And that was the right thing to do. And so for me, that's a wonderful challenge as an actor. You have to be completely involved in your character.
Pour l'anecdote, le lieu où le personnage de Redford échoue en mer serait l'endroit même où 32 ans plus tôt, le 29 novembre 1981, Natalie Wood fut retrouvée mystérieusement noyée au large de l'île californienne de Santa Catalina. La tempête finira sur les marches de Cannes. Par ironie, la pluie sera au rendez-vous, le naturel se rappelant toujours à l'artifice et au glamour.
It's actually barefoot in the park. It was me that couldn't keep my hands off him. I was constantly forcing myself on him.
Did you miss me today?
No,
Why not?
because you called me 8 times. I don't talk to you that much when I'm home.
Their bridal heaven in Greenwich Village.
Well, in the first place, Paul, it's just a little hole. And in the second place, what do you want me to do?
Go to pieces, like me. It's the wake up, break the rules, rock the boat, live it up comedy of the year.
We played that young love, just getting married, and now we played old people's love. And old people's sex, although, you know, in my opinion, Ritesh cut the sex scene too soon. But, or maybe that was you that decided to cut it too soon.
No, it wasn't me.
I don't know. He doesn't like sex
Tough.
scenes.
It was a very tough one.
I live for sex scenes with him.
It was a really hard decision.
He's a great kisser. So it was fun to kiss him in my 20s and then to kiss him again in my almost 80s.
What do you mean, almost?
I'm speaking for myself.
Okay.
When I made the last movie with him, the Sundance Institute was just beginning. And now, what he created has really changed American cinema in the most profound ways. And so I not only love him and admire him as an actor, a director, and a producer, but this is a man who has had a profound effect on American cinema. It's never too late. If you're brave, if you're willing to take risks and make a leap of faith, you can become what you were meant to be, even if you've never been that before. And that's what the film is about, in my opinion.
A great kisser, a dit de lui Jane Fonda, un expert en baiser. On pourrait voir en Redford l'embrasseur des belles d'Hollywood, ce que voulait faire de lui Pollack dans le fond. Mais sous les baisers, la vie. Et la vie conduira un beau jour au dernier des baisers.
So is this really your last film?
Probably, yes. Never say never, but...
Dans son dernier film, The Old Man with the Gun, il passe son temps à s'évader. Donc c'est une forme de quête éternelle de la liberté, de quête sans arrêt recommencée. Et la liberté, c'est effectivement une valeur fondamentale. Bon, d'abord, je pense pour tout Américain, le premier amendement de la Constitution, et pour Redford en particulier. Donc un personnage de gangster finalement positif, aimable, dans lequel le public peut se projeter ou s'identifier, et donc qui en quelque sorte boucle la boucle avec le Sundance Kid de Butch Cassidy.
Look, this is it. This is our only planet, our only life source. This may be our last chance. Our planet's resources are limited, but there's no limit to the human imagination and our capacity to solve bigger problems. So only by acting now and standing together behind a universal climate agreement can we live up to the UN's promise that was made years ago, its founding promise. And only by acting now and standing together can we achieve the results we need in the time that we have left. And only by acting now and standing together can we begin to tip the scales and change the course of history. And I, for one, hope you will embrace that role with courage and conviction. Thank you.
Redford dit de lui: « J'ai le sentiment que plus on connaît l'histoire, plus on est armé pour fabriquer son propre avenir, plutôt que de le subir. Il semble aujourd'hui qu'on cherche à s'inventer une nouvelle culture, comme si instinctivement on cherchait à s'échapper de la Terre avant qu'elle ne meure.